Hi, my name is Monica Alford. I'm the founder and CEO of Wildside Media, back in Legacy Sessions today. Very excited to be with a longtime friend who I've known. We were just thinking about this before the segment. It's been about 10 years, coming up on a decade.
10 years, I know.
This
is our anniversary.
It is. I know. I'm like, let me say your name also before I go on. I'm like, sorry, this is Rose Previte. She is the founder of Kirby Club, Compass Rose, Maydan, which I can never pronounce properly, but apparently that's one of a couple approved ways of saying it, as well as Medina, which is pictured behind us. If you are watching this, if it's through Spotify, you'll have to check it out in person, which is the newest addition to the family, right? And it's
November of last year.
Yeah, her new cocktail club. So we are chatting today about all the things, but starting with a release of a new olive oil that Rose and her team at No White Plates have been producing and are ready to launch into retail spaces and with a fun party later this month.
Yeah. It was ready months ago, but it was intended to release with the cookbook that came out in last November. So it's like, you know how things just all happen at the same time. So
I do.
Yeah, I know
sure
you do.
Yeah.
Medina was like supposed to open in April, then it opened in November. The cookbook came out in November. And so it just ended up being a really hectic time. And then we just couldn't get the olive oil in time. So it just arrived and we decided it was a journey to get it here. It's unfiltered Lebanese olive oil. I have a good friend who also I make wine with, a guy named Eddie Chami. And his family and my family are both from the region of Lebanon where all the olives are. And finally I talk about olive oil in the cookbook. I use gallons and gallons and tons of olive oil a year in the restaurants. I'm like, this is silly. I'm going to make my own. And so Eddie on the ground in Lebanon helped me source the olives from a bunch of local farmers and press it and bottle it, and it arrived last month, and now we're going to have a party about it at the end of June 20th at Medina.
Yeah. So tell me what, not that I know a ton about the olive oil making process. What do you feel like you've done that's maybe a little unique or something that was important to you in the process that, feels like a fresh take on olive oil?
Well, it's not funny because unfiltered doesn't sound fresh, but actually I think that's our most unique attribute. Yeah. Like when you get a lot of extra virgin olive oil in the store, it's still very clear and like a golden color. Ours is sort of like murky if you look at it through glass. And some people might think that's wrong, but it's actually the way we like it. So it's super raw. I think sometimes when you filter it, you actually take out a lot of flavor, but we have enormous flavor. It's very earthy. And it was sourced from families that are from the same region as mine. So it's super boutique, and we don't have enough to make it use it in the restaurant for cooking. Yeah. It's just all bottled and will be available in the stores, my store, Maydan. We're making a little store around the host stand, and we'll have one at Medina. So you'll be able to buy it and take it away. But really, we're going to be using it in cocktails only because it's such a small batch production.
Yeah. So it's like the pet nat of olive oil.
I'll take that. Yeah. The pet nat of olive oil. Are you in marketing or something? I think.
No, media, but kind of. I mean, it's all one and the same.
Good,
they're all connected. No, I always think about that with pet nats and some oranges. They have that kind of cloudy look, but they also, I would describe them as earthy. So perhaps that is,
Yeah, I think they're more like authentic and rich and just kind of the ancient way. Sort of like Maydan, we just use fire, right? We don't use appliances. Just always trying to stay as authentic as possible.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Compass Rose does have a pet nat that I really love that Alex always pours when I go in there. So shameless plug for that.
I hope it's a Lebanese one. Let me know which one it is. Because the same guy who made the olive oil makes our pet nat.
Well, okay. We'll see. It's all coming full circle.
It's all coming together.
Yeah. So tell me about the olive oil cocktails. What does that entail?
Well, we're still designing them. But we were just talking yesterday about them, and we have a couple. I think boozy is the direction we're going because I don't know, olive oil in a juicy cocktail could work, but I think we're going to stay away from that. So think like martinis and really spirit forward cocktails. One is just going to have a spritz, more of an aromatic sensation, so you're smelling it almost a little bit more than tasting it. So we're getting wonky. We're getting the science, and it's been a lot of fun to talk about.
Yeah, I love that. Cool.
Yeah. So they'll be on the menu at Medina and Maydan going forward after the party on the 20th.
Very cool. Yeah, which we need to plug because Wildside is curating it, and we're so excited.
I'm very happy to work with you all.
Yeah, ditto. I want to come back to that, but I just want to expand the conversation a little bit to see if there's anything happening this summer other than the summer solstice party on June 20th with limited tickets, which we will tell you more about soon. That, with any of the businesses that you want to share or anything you're excited that's coming up.
Yeah, we have a couple things this summer because, I feel like this year is the first, half of last year and this year is like the first, we are doing events. COVID, we're done. Not, not scheduling or canceling things for COVID. And it's felt really liberating. So we decided to get back on, what is that expression? Back on the horse?
Yeah.
Back on the horse. And go back to planning some cool events at the restaurants, which kind of just stopped for a couple of years, right?
Of course.
We used to do a ton of wine dinners and all this stuff, and then we just cold stopped. And now this summer, we're restarting a bunch of those things. So Maydan will be soon announcing a summer wine dinner series. So we're going to work with some of our distributors that we're tightest with and form a meal and a ticketed thing around those wines. So for example, our friends at No Rules, Caroline Bello, we work with, she does a lot of wines from unique and undiscovered parts of the world, kind of like our theme of our wine list at Compass and at Maydan has always been lesser known regions of the world and underrepresented winemakers. And so we're going to be partnering with folks that share our mission and then bring food into it, of course, and just make it a little party. So we just did Georgia a couple weeks ago, and it was such a great event. We're like, let's just keep going. So we're going to announce the summer wine series. We also have a wine club that will tie into a lot of the dinners. So if anyone ever wants to join our wine club, we tend to do events centered around the club.
Cool.
So like the wines you're getting that month, we'll have a special dinner around it, so you know how to pair it at home and all of that.
Yeah.
And then we're going to do a pop-up cocktail series at Medina. We're inviting a couple folks down from New York and a couple people locally. Green Zone was just there. They did a cocktail pop-up with us to celebrate Arab American Heritage Month, and that was in April. It went so well. Again, we're like, all right, we need to keep doing this. So we're calling some friends in New York to come down and some other people here in DC just to come over and just have fun because it's summer and things like calm down a little bit. I feel like that stress of especially May is full of graduations, and in the summer we can just kind of chill a little bit and do our own fun stuff. So yes, so please be on the lookout for all of our dinner and drink events.
Yeah, wonderful. Will do. That's exciting. You have a lot going on.
Yeah, just a little bit.
But
just do that and some olive oil launching. We're fine. Nothing much.
Yeah. So tell me about Kirby Club, because I don't know if everybody in the DC area knows that you've gone out to Virginia, which is very cool for Virginians.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about that. And that's about a year old.
It is a little different. It's exactly a year old. Yeah. It is a little different out in Virginia, but I actually my business partner lives out there and is from there, so it was a little bit more
out there. She says,
there.
"Oh, geez, it's not that far."
I lived at 14th and T almost my whole existence in this in 20 years. T Street has been Compass Rose is at 14th and T. I literally lived in Compass Rose for 3 years and then across the street the rest since then. So no offense, Virginia, I love you. Really, it's been really nice to have a Target right across the street. So we're in the Mosaic District, which is, kind of a retail as well as a food, dining destination. And this one focuses a little bit more on Lebanese American cuisine. I am, of course, Lebanese American. And it focuses a little bit more on the diaspora food, like when you come to the U.S. and you can't get all the same ingredients that you have at home. Right. And also focuses on the kebab, which is just to me, the love language of the whole world, actually, but especially in the Middle East. Wherever you go, you're eating meat on a stick or vegetables on a stick.
Quintessential.
Right.
Yeah.
So we just wanted to maybe glam it up just a little bit. And so Kirby Club is right on the green, there's a green grassy area at Mosaic, which is Fairfax technically. And we're right off of the park. And in the summer, there's it's very family friendly. And so we have big platters of rice and kebabs and things like that. I have a kids menu. I don't have kids menus here in DC, but if you go to Virginia at my place, you can find one. So I'm not against them. I just never had one. But we have a kids menu out there. It's very very family friendly, but it's also been a lot of fun to explore my own roots here in the U.S. as opposed to Maydan and Medina, which are more about researching my roots abroad. This is really this was our experience in Toledo, Ohio. And this is why we had to make things this way. And so a lot of people have been connecting with it too, because regardless of where you came from, if you came to America, you had to make some changes to what you're used to. And so that's kind of a celebration of, keeping culture alive when you've moved away from where your roots are, and a celebration of it. So it's just backyard barbecues, summer picnics, that's kind of the vibe of the place.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, total sidebar, I will give a shout out to Mosaic District for that green area you were talking about, because I feel like it's such a diverse community. That's the other thing about Montgomery County and Northern Virginia is, you can say it's over the river, but that really is where I feel like so much of the diversity is in the DMV.
So much.
But I love going there in the evenings where there's Middle Eastern families, AAPI families, Latinx families, and all their kids are up at 9 p.m. They're all playing games on the green, like bedtime at 6 o'clock where your whole world shuts down. And I'm saying this as a mom, obviously, but I'm like, validation, you know, because my 7-year-old, I mean, he's got routine.
We're not bad parents.
Yes, it's just like, it's so nice to see full families like still being out together, especially in the summer when it's nice out, you know, after dark. And it's still, you know, everybody's got ice cream or their, you know, their coffees or whatever. And it's just a gathering space and the kids are all together. And that's really kind of unique, sadly, in the United States, especially in areas where everyone's type A and is trying to keep up with the Joneses and whatever. Yeah, but you know what I mean?
No,
So,
I
like,
think you describe it really, really well. And I think that's what won me over. Because I honestly defied the stereotype I had of suburb. Because to me, it takes 40 minutes.
Yeah,
like,
that is,
if you don't take the
that is a little further out. It is, but it's
about
beautiful.
40 minutes from the center of DC with traffic, right?
Fair
you can
enough.
do a little bit less. But so I had a judgment, and then I got out there, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so diverse. And as Lebanese American, when I moved to DC from the like Toledo, Detroit area, where there's a huge Middle Eastern population, so I never had to look for a Middle Eastern store. It was all at my fingertips. So I didn't think moving to the nation's capital, I would struggle to find those things. And I did. Turned out they were all in the suburbs the whole time. But I didn't have a car when I first moved here, so I had no idea. And then I go out to Mosaic, I'm like, oh my gosh, you're all here. All the stores, there's a bunch of really good kebab spots and like, you know, traditional Lebanese places around there as well. That I love going to. So
well, I'm sure you're getting a lot of that clientele too, where they're like, finally, something's opened up that feels
and
you know, authentic and like home.
Well, of course, yes. But then you get the Lebanese grandmas who are like, well, I don't make it this way. So the other side of the coin is like, yes, everyone is familiar with the food and like it's not, you know, exotic. They're like, this is what I eat at home. Which sometimes we have to explain to people where it came from and what it is. They're like, no, we know what it is. We just make it better at home. I'm like, thank you, Siti. You know, Siti
appreciate that.
Grandma in Arabic. And I'm like, thank you, Siti. I appreciate your insight. So we do have to take a little more abuse in that department. But that's okay. It comes with the territory.
That's right. And you're making it more palatable to folks that are not familiar with the cuisine. So you can't please everybody, right? You gotta.
No, we do our best. We try.
Yeah. So, okay, back to DC. Thank you for going to Virginia with me. I appreciate it.
No, thank you for the shout out. I appreciate it.
Yeah, because I went when it opened, actually with a former food journalist in the city, Lonnie Fairbank. I don't know if you ever worked with her, but she had suggested it because that's close to where she lives, and so she was, you know, always eager to pick out the new foodie spots in Virginia. We had a blast. And Finn did not eat off the kids menu either, and he was 6, and he tried everything we tried. So
of course you have a cool kid. I'm not surprised.
I mean, he's pretty great, but thank you. But let's go back to Medina, because I do want to close out with talking a little bit about our party, the things that we can share about it, and ways we're working together in the next few weeks. But if you can give me like the elevator pitch like length version of the concept, and you know.
Well, it's kind of like we always have said that Medina is Maydan's like kind of bad, like naughty little sister, because Maydan's like the older sibling and I'm the oldest. So this is coming from clearly personal experience. But Maydan has the Michelin star, has to be like, you know, well behaved all the time. Like we don't get to play so much because it's just, there's a lot more pressure. And then it comes along like the youngest, right? Like not even a year old. Medina is just this kind of, it's this curtained design that's meant to remind you of kind of like walled cities. Medina means just like a walled city or like an old city in Arabic. And traveling in Morocco and Morocco and Tunisia in particular, you hear the word Medina a lot because that's how they refer to like the marketplace, like in the old cities. Like, let's go to the Medina to buy fabric, or like let's go to the Medina to buy lunch or whatever. And then Malta even, which is in the EU, but their main like area of tourism in Malta is Medina. So it's actually a word that's used pretty commonly. But I just I wanted this place to feel like those places, like a little secret, a little hidden, but like tons of amazing stuff to buy when you get there. So I've done some damage in like Fez, Morocco, and the Medina. Like I was like, I'm sorry, is that leather that I just saw you dye right in front of me? I'll take all of it back to America somehow. Thank you. You know, so we want you to do that. But this is a little spin on it, and it's cocktail forward. And we do have a menu. There is food, just a lot less than Maydan. The idea here is cocktails first, but we do tagines of lamb and chicken and vegetables, a lot of meze board fun and stuff. So the night of the party, there'll be some snacks, there'll be cocktails, the olive oil cocktails will be premiering for the first time, and we hope to have a little bit, since it's the summer solstice, we're going to have a little bit of fortune telling, maybe some flower crown situations. We're going to have a bunch of things going on. So it'll be a really good party, but I think it'll really explain kind of this like other side of Maydan, like it's little sister who gets to kind of just have a good time, with less responsibility.
Absolutely, And for those listening or watching, please stay tuned. We'll be releasing some fun details about different artists and vendors and DJ.
I didn't give any specifics. Sorry.
Yes, all this fun stuff that's coming soon on Thursday the 20th, and we will have a limited ticket release and maybe a fun giveaway or something that we can share. And I know that there will be an olive oil swag bag too, so you can take home a product and and
so there'll only be a few tickets. So when we do release it, you should get them quickly.
Yes, and also I'm very excited because the Medina team, in some form or fashion, I hope I can nab Rose, but if I can't, I know there'll be somebody
I'm gonna try.
wonderful from our team for our Walk on the Wild Side Pride Party on Saturday the 15th. For the ticketed portion in Dock 5 in the evening, we're going to have all these fun immersive experiences and activations, and a lot to be announced. But Medina will be there, and there will be a signature cocktail potentially with the olive oil in it. So,
and a few
so
snacks
to come find
from the kitchen.
And hopefully we're going to recreate some cool little elements of this beautiful cocktail bar.
It is in the style of sort of like a Bedouin tent, like the one we used to have at Compass Rose. And the idea of the tents are that you like to travel, right? So we like to take our wares and go on the road. So this is a perfect excuse. We're really glad to join you guys. So we're ready to party.
Well, thank you so much. Everyone, go find Rose online through a lot of different, I was going to say what's the main handle or website, but they're all different. But you want to give us one? Maybe start with Medina?
Well, you can actually go to No White Plates.
That's right.
That's the restaurant. You mentioned it earlier. And it's just the restaurant group. So basically anything that is mine, you will find under there. But all of our individual Instagrams have their own personality. And then, there's mine. If you're in doubt, you can find me. But we'll always release on social media, on MailChimp occasionally, and on our websites.
Yeah. Wonderful. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. It's so nice to see you.
Yeah, you too.